797 horsepower. That's not a typo. The 2025 Dodge Challenger SRT Hellcat just crushed every expectation with an earth-shaking power upgrade that'll leave supercars in the dust. But here's the kicker. This American muscle monster cost a fraction of those European exotics. We're talking $70,000 to smoke cars worth millions. How's that for Detroit engineering? The Beast Unleashed. 797 horses of pure American muscle. Imagine standing next to a car so powerful you can feel the ground shake beneath your feet. That's exactly what the 2025 Challenger brings to the table. Dodge isn't messing around this time. They've cranked the horsepower up to levels that'll make your head spin. But here's the real question. Can an American muscle car actually go toe-to-toe with those fancy European supercars? Well, let's break it down. Under the hood, we're looking at a monster 6.2-litre V8 engine. But Dodge didn't stop there. They slapped a massive supercharger on top, forcing air into those cylinders like there's no tomorrow. The result? A whopping 797 horsepower and 707 pound-feet of torque. That's enough power to launch a small rocket into orbit. Now, let's talk about how Dodge squeezed out every last drop of power. They've optimized the fuel injection system, improved the cooling, and even redesigned the exhaust to reduce back pressure. It's like they've gone through this engine with a fine tooth comb, finding every possible way to boost performance. But raw power is only part of the equation. What really matters is the power to weight ratio, and this is where the Challenger really shines. At around 4,400 pounds, it's no lightweight, but it still manages to pack more punch per pound than some of the most famous supercars out there. We're talking about beating cars that cost 3, 4, even 5 times as much. So what does all this power mean on the street? Well, it means you're looking at a car that can go from 0 to 60 in under 3 seconds. It means you're driving a machine that can hit top speeds north of 200 miles per hour. It means that when you put your foot down, you better hold on tight. The 2025 Challenger isn't just a car, it's a statement. It's Dodge telling the world that American muscle is here to stay and it's ready to take on all corners. But remember, raw power is useless if you can't put it to the pavement. And that's exactly what we're going to look at next. Now, make sure to like the video and subscribe to the channel. David versus Goliath. How a $70,000 muscle car humiliates $1 million exotics. You might think a Ferrari or a Lamborghini would leave a Challenger in the dust. But what if I told you this American muscle car is about to turn the supercar world upside down? Picture this, a stoplight in Beverly Hills. A sleek Ferrari pulls up, its engine purring. Next to it, a Dodge Challenger rumbles into place. The light turns green. Who wins? You'd be shocked. For years, supercar bragging rights belonged to ultra-expensive European exotics. We're talking cars that cost more than some houses. The Ferrari 488 GTB, that'll set you back about $250,000. A Lamborghini Huracan? Around $200,000. These are the big boys of the automotive world. But Dodge just crashed the party with a $70,000 gatecrasher. Can a cheap American muscle car really hang with these $1 million babies? Well, let's look at the numbers. The 2025 Challenger Hellcat Red Eye hit 60 miles per hour in about 3.6 seconds. That's supercar territory, folks. And in a quarter mile, this beast clocks in around 10.5 seconds. That's enough to make some McLaren owners nervous. Now, let's talk top speed. While many supercars are electronically limited, the Challenger keeps pushing past 200 miles per hour. All this from a car that costs less than half of its exotic competitors. But here's where it gets really interesting. The Challenger isn't just about straight line speed. It's got 797 horsepower under the hood. That's more than a Ferrari 488 GTP, 661 horsepower, or a Lamborghini Huracan, 631 horsepower. More power for way less money. And let's be honest, power is addictive. But you know what else is nice? Being able to actually use your car. The Challenger has a real back seat and a usable trunk. Try fitting your golf clubs in a Lamborghini. They can't capture the visceral thrill of American muscle, the head-turning rumble of that V8, or the pride of owning a piece of Detroit engineering that can smoke cars costing 10 times as much. So what kind of supercar beating performance can you get for under $70,000? How about a car that'll make Ferrari owners think twice before revving their engines at stoplights? A car that proves you don't need a trust fund to experience mind-bending speed. Now, let's see what happens when rubber meets road. Quarter mile showdown, Challenger versus the world's fastest. Now, let's see what happens when rubber meets road, at speeds that'll make your heart race faster than the car. The quarter mile is where muscle cars prove their worth, and the new Challenger is gunning for the crown. But here's the real shocker. It's not just aiming to beat other muscle cars, it's setting its sights on supercars. Picture this. The Christmas tree lights flash yellow, yellow, green. This is where legends are made or broken. The drag strip doesn't care about your fancy badge or how much you paid. It only cares about one thing: who crosses the finish line first. But can the Challenger's straight line speed really match up to those insane specs we talked about earlier? Dodge didn't just slap a big engine in this beast and call it a day. They've engineered a launch control system that's pure magic. It manages engine power and wheel slip to get you off the line faster than you can blink. And that traction control, it's keeping all 797 horses in check, making sure you don't just spin your wheels. Now, let's talk numbers. The new Challenger is clocking quarter mile times that'll make your jaw drop. We're talking at around 10.5 seconds. Know what else runs at 10.5? The Ferrari 488 GTB. And the Lamborghini Huracan? It's only about a tenth of a second faster at 10.4. This American muscle car is going toe-to-toe with exotics, costing 3 times as much. But winning races isn't just about the car, it's about the driver too, and that's where the Challenger really shines. Dodge has made this car so easy to launch, you'll feel like a pro drag racer from day one. They've even got special editions like the Shakedown, tailor-made for drag racing enthusiasts. So how does the new Challenger stack up against European exotics in a quarter mile? It doesn't just stack up, it's rewriting the rules. This $70,000 American muscle car isn't just competing with supercars, it's beating them, and it's doing it with a rumble that'll shake your soul. Now, speed is addictive, but style is forever. So let's look at the Challenger's design. Retro meets modern, the art of intimidation. Speed is addictive, but style is forever. So let's look at the Challenger's design. The 2025 Challenger isn't just a car, it's a statement on wheels. But here's the kicker. Dodge didn't just copy and paste from their glory days. They pulled off something that seemed impossible. They've made retro look futuristic. How? Well, that's where things get interesting. A Challenger rolls by and heads turn. Dodge had to walk a tightrope here, balancing nostalgia with modern design trends. How do you update an icon without losing its soul? It's like trying to remix a classic rock anthem, one wrong note, and fans will riot. But Dodge nailed it. The 2025 Challenger keeps that bold front fascia and wide stance that screams muscle car. Those muscular body lines, they're straight out of the late 60s and early 70s playbook. But look closer and you'll see subtle tweaks that brings this beast into 2025. Dodge added some slick aerodynamic touches that don't mess with the car's signature boldness. It's like they gave the Challenger a modern haircut without changing its attitude. Now, let's talk about the new Shakedown trim. This thing is a love letter to gearheads. It's got unique graphics that'll make you feel like you're at a 1970s drag strip. The wheels? Pure retro cool. But the crown jewel is that shaker hood scoop. It's an nod to classic Mopar designs that lets you watch that engine breathe. The outside turns heads, but what about the inside? Well, slide into the driver's seat and you're transported back in time. The cockpit style layout and that signature pistol grip shifter scream classic muscle car. But then you notice the massive touchscreen. It's got Apple CarPlay and Android Auto because even muscle car drivers need to stay connected. And here's the real magic trick Dodge pulled off. They packed this retro rocket with modern safety tech. We're talking adaptive cruise control, blind spot monitoring, and lane keeping assistance. But they've done it in a way that doesn't kill the muscle car vibe. It's like having a bouncer at a rock concert, there for your safety, but not ruining the party. Now let's slide into the driver's seat and see what's new. Let's face it, the 2025 Dodge Challenger isn't just another car. It's a middle finger to anyone who thought American muscle was dead. This beast proves you don't need to sell a kidney to get supercar thrills. For 70 grand, you're getting a machine that'll smoke $1 million exotics and look damn good doing it. But here's the real kicker. The Challenger is more than just raw power. It's a time machine on wheels, blending retro cool with modern tech. It's the kind of car that makes you feel something when you fire it up. That rumble isn't just an engine noise, it's the sound of American pride. Dodge didn't just build a car here, they built a legend. The 2025 Challenger is proof that Detroit still knows how to make cars that'll make your heart race and your neighbors jealous. It's not just transportation, it's a statement on wheels. And that statement, American muscle is here to stay and it's coming for the supercar crown.